And welcome once again to Investor's Edge. I'm Gary Kaltbaum, your host. Hey, thanks for being with us today. Glad you're here, ladies and gentlemen. Happy that you are listening. It's Thursday. It's the 26th. It's 2026. Hope you're having a good day. As always, lots to cover, lots to talk about, serious talk on everything that affects you. The markets, the economy, your job, your industry, the Morlocks in D.C., the illogical BS that flows out of there on a daily basis, and whatever else. And if you don't get this radio show in your city, we'll post it at GaryK.com. We'll also post it on our X feed. And you don't follow us on X, you should. We'll post it there and put our name in. If you'd like to email us, you just be nice. We'll also post it on the BizTV YouTube channel. So, I always know what everybody's thinking. Why? Because I get calls. I get emails from people I don't know who they are, never met them, never spoke to them. I get calls from people, don't know who they are, just people that watch us on Tube and follow us on radio. And today was a busier day than most. Now, unfortunately, when I get a phone call from any phone number now on my phone, it says spam. So what I have to do is let it ring, they leave a message, I call them back. Every one was an inquiry on Nvidia today, which tells me these people all owned Nvidia. And I was thinking to myself, the worst acting semiconductor stock, big name, is AMD, Broadcom right behind it. Nvidia is pretty much the third worst acting semiconductor stock, but that's the one everybody owns because it has the biggest name and because before it had good moves. But we're still somewhat on the amazed side, the tolerance people have. Nvidia stock has not moved in ages. And for me, ages, the stock is trading where it did beginning of August of last year. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 months and 2 or 3 weeks. So, at the outset today, I'm going to just talk NVIDIA for everybody. We'll first talk on a technical basis, and then we'll talk, why did NVIDIA drop almost $11 today after reporting? And let me be clear about the numbers. They were strong. The numbers accelerated. What does acceleration mean? Well, the last 4 quarters of NVIDIA, earnings up 33, 54, 60, and 82. Last 3 quarters of sales, 56, 62, 73. They're great numbers. Yet NVIDIA sold off on 352 million shares, over about 5.5%. Have you ever played whack-a-mole? You know what that is, right? You put one of these hammers in your hand, and whatever they are, the frogs or dragons pop up, and what do? You take that mallet and knock it on the head and drop it back down. Whack-a-mole. How about you have an attic? Now, some attics you pull down and it comes down and there's stairs. Other attics, you loosen it and it goes up and you have a ladder. Amuse me. What happens if you try 100 times to move up and get through to the attic, and you can never be able to do that? Think about it that way. Also, what else can I come up with? I'm thinking the old Batman show. We'll leave it at that. So, just letting you know, it's really easy for me. Around 194 to 195, the big institutions are playing whack-a-mole with the stock. They are selling the living crap out of it in and around that level. Now, how do we know this? Well, they did it on volume back last October. But then you had one shot on some big news that got above it to 212. Within 3 days, you were back down to 195 and then below it. Back in early January, it hit 193.63 and whack-a-mole. In early February, it hit 194.49 and whack-a-mole. Yesterday, it hit 197.63 but closed around 195. And today, down $11. Let's call it 11 to 184 and change. Whack-a-mole. So we're just letting you know, we talk support and resistance here, technically. Support is a stock drops down to $100 and rallies up to 110, drops to $100 and holds and rallies up to 115, drops to $100 and holds again, rallies to 118, drops to $100 but holds again. Those are your support levels. You can define it. Often in the market, you can take a nice pen and a ruler and draw right across, and you get your absolute unadulterated support level. And then you have what is known as resistance, the ceiling. Instead of 100 being support, imagine you're $85 and you rally up to 100 and then it sells off. And then it drops back to 90. Rallies back to 100 and sells off down to 85. Rallies back to 100, sells down to 90 and just can't get through. That's resistance. That's it. Nvidia is trading between 195 and a low of 170, which, by the way, you ready for this? On November 25th, hit 169.55 and reversed and closed at 177. On December 17th, it hit 170.31 and rallied back up. And by the way, on February 5th, it hit 171. So within $1, 3 times over a 3-month period, it hit that low. Didn't stay there long. So between 170 and 194, 195, that's your support and resistance. And regardless of how damn good the news was, they took out the mallets and hit that sucker over the head. That's your technical condition of Nvidia. It remains in a range going back to last August, which is quite amazing for a stock like this, with one visit up to $212 that lasted 3 days. I'm trying to remember what the news was. It wasn't earnings in late October that rallied up and just frittered it away. So draw a line over 195, draw a line under 170, and you're back and forth. If you break below 170, bad. If you get through 195, good. Or potentially bad, potentially good. That is your technical condition on it. The worry is, listen to the worry. Every analyst, strong buy. Every pundit on TV, strong, target 250, 300. They're in the White House every couple of weeks. They're getting exemptions. Everything's all good. Everything's wonderful. The CEO comes out and said things are fantastic. And we're being told it's cheap. And it can't get moving. 8 months of no gains. Pretty much has taken over Apple as the noisiest stock in the market. That's the worry. But you really don't get really worried unless it takes out the 170. That's all. There's little support higher than 170. I don't think it's that meaningful. Little bit. I'd prefer to just say 170 to 195, and that's what happened today. Did I have any idea? Hell no. The fact of the matter is the stock was up in the aftermarket yesterday. I think it was up like at 201, 202. Opened up a buck, and they just sold that sucker down. Up next, we'll put a bow tie on it. The fundamental side. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Welcome once again to Investor's Edge. My bad. It yesterday was 195.56. It opened at 194.29, so it actually opened down a buck, but it was up all day. And of course, this had a problem for the semis, down 270 today. The stocks. Nasdaq down 273. Nasdaq 100 294. But I must tell you, Nasdaq was down 440 late in the afternoon. Nice little comeback. And some semiconductor stocks, let me give an example. KLAC, one of the semiconductor equipment companies, hit 1468 today, was down 78 bucks, finished only down 22. Which takes me back. That time where Nvidia, in the last earnings report, it opened up that day at 196, closed at 180. That day, the semiconductors had a vicious reversal, and I'm sitting there thinking, oh crap, this is trouble. Well, the next day, the semiconductors opened bad, reversed, and went on its way to the upside, while Nvidia's done absolutely nothing. So the semiconductor index had a rough day today. I wouldn't be surprised if it gives this the certain finger and shrugs off today. Not predicting it. If it does what it did last quarter, that's what we'll be looking at. And the fact that I see a KLAC down 78, finishes down 23. Lam Research today was down 20, finishes down 10. These are some important names, by the way. How did Applied Materials do? That was down 19, was down 28. ASML Holdings was down, really? Was down 100. Finished down 62. It's a $1,400 stock. We'll see what tomorrow brings. I have absolutely no clue about tomorrow. The fundamental side. Well, as you look at the numbers, earnings strong, sales strong. But there are people out there that are a lot smarter than me. They would be the Ernst and Young types. Can look at a balance sheet and really do a deep dive into it. I'm pretty smart with that stuff, but there are people out there that really can pick something off here and there. There are people out there that are saying, well, number one, you know how the thing with Oracle, they said we have a $500 billion backlog, but it's all with one customer, and then you had to go into massive debt. Well, Nvidia doesn't have to do that, but there are people reporting about how there are only like 4 or 5 customers. There are people, this is a true fact, that Alibaba's coming out with an AI chip. Google's coming out with an AI chip. You still have that DeepSeek that's out there. So the question is, are they going to be able to take away? Then there is the question of, well, wait a minute, what about the inventory skyrocketing? And what about this obligation thing over here? OZs. And why are they booking this now when it should be over? There's a lot of that going on. Just so you know, in my industry, this is not Nvidia. Everybody's always looking at how long does somebody depreciate something for, because it can make the books look better, these type of things. There was some of that talk today. That said, I just watched the stock. And leave no doubt, for the second earnings in a row, Nvidia stock got distributed on heavy volume. Distributed. Bleh. And that's that. Whack-a-mole. The other part of the equation. The other part. It's got a $4.5 trillion market cap with 24 billion shares outstanding. Maybe it's just tough to move something like that. That's what may be going on. Don't know 100%. So bottom line, just a tough day. Down 5.5. I've seen a lot worse. And if it keeps trading between 170 and 195, so be it. If it breaks 170, I gather that's going to invite some serious selling. But you're 15 points away from that. If it breaks above, I'll call 195, 196, you're only about 11, 12 points from that. We'll keep you informed. But obviously, a lot of people are still in the stock and remains just plain old frickin' range bound. Let's continue. Yesterday, I had said to you, in the last 2 days, I had mentioned that the IGV had the highest volume ever, 2 days in a row. And after drops, that often means a washing out of the drop. So you had a good day yesterday. We're just letting you know another good day today. So while they were blasting the semis, I can tell you that software had a pretty decent day and had some a reason. Salesforce.com, a very big software enterprise company. The stock's been destroyed over the last year and a half. Reported good earnings again. Finished up, I believe, if I got this right, let me make sure my exact number. 199.5, up like 8. Had a strong day on the earnings. So I think these very deeply blasted, stretched, extended, and oversold software stocks see that, and they bounced. So we're just letting you know the software stocks are bouncing. I have no idea how long it lasts or how far it goes. None of this move changes their big downtrends. We'll advise as it keeps going. And they're in bear markets. That's the best way I can explain it to you. I wish I could say it better. They're just in bear markets with a counter trend move right now off of that. Up next, what else we got for you? Because there's a lot of jello moving on the plate today, ladies and gentlemen. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Hey, yo. Welcome once again to Investor's Edge. Thanks for being with us today. Hope you're having a good day. This is going to be a no politics day. A no politics day. How's that? We're going to leave it be. We're going to leave it be. Except for the New York City mayor. Schmuck. Did you see the videos of the police officers being pelted by a bunch of scumbags with snowballs? Some of them very hard. You ever been hit with a hard snowball? It's like getting hit by a softball. if not a baseball. And a couple of officers went into the hospital. This moron mayor says, I don't think anybody should be prosecuted for a snowball fight. And I'm thinking to myself, yeah, we know you hate the police, but in plain sight, you're telling everybody it's just a snowball fight. These are police officers that are being hit. And this was not a friendly snowball fight. This was some nasty crap going on. They were cursing out the police. They were taunting and threatening them. I've said since day one, think of the worst case scenario of this guy and times it by 50. I think we're going to be at 100. Think about that. Did you see go look at the videos. You tell me. It was not little kids saying, oh, let's have a snowball fight. It was a bunch of ass clowns. Now, we found out that one of them had a warrant out. They arrested one of them. He was a criminal already. We'll see if they do anything else. Boy, that irritates the hell out of me, because I'm up there every couple of weeks. Because if you don't do anything about this, somebody else is going to do it again. That's how criminals are. They're a bunch of wimps and cowards. They just got to know they can get away with something. Oh, that really? You mean I can go into a drugstore and a supermarket and steal $949 and not have anything happen? Terrific. Of course, I know if it's $950, I can be arrested. So I'm going to bring a calculator into the store as soon as I hit $949. And actually, I'm going to be smart about it. I'm just going to go to $930, not even get close. Sheer insanity. Sheer insanity. You know, I read another one today. In California, they let out a serial pedophile because he hit a certain age. What? Huh? They have a thing in California. Oh, you can be a serial pedophile and attack little kids, but if you hit this age, yeah, we'll let you out. They're insane. It's absolute insanity. All right, now I'm done. Let's go through some other areas of the market. Gold miners, really impressive. I think it's at a new high today, while gold's not even really close. And when I say not close, GLD's at 510. GLD's closed at 477. That's freaking impressive. Next. We've had some artificial intelligence markdowns. They went after insurance stocks, brokerage stocks. We know about software stocks. They went after consulting stocks, a few other sundry items. So the truckers. So we're here to let you know that really good bounces on a bunch of them. Some not bouncing that much, but we're getting good well, we mentioned software already, and let me be clear. They're still way down. They're still way down. I love giving the CrowdStrike example because I guess people know it. CrowdStrike dropped $90 in 2 days. A $432 stock drops $90 in 2 days, 20 some odd percent. It dropped down to 342. It's back to 377, down from 432. So it's got back like 40. We're seeing that. Will they get it all back? I don't know. Oh, and by the way, CrowdStrike before that drop was already in a bear market, down from 566. So we're getting that recovery. I noticed Landstar today up 13. That stock went from 165 down to 130 in like an hour. It's back to 157 today, up 13. And I get asked, you ever consider trying something like that? You know it's news-driven. If I don't think I have any edge whatsoever, heck no. That's my thought process behind it. I have no edge. And I see it going up, but you're always a genius in real time. Oh, it's going up. Whatever. You don't know in 10 minutes if something else hit and it drops $20. So tough call. I can tell you things like Ameriprise. The brokers got hit. Dropped from $5.50 to $4.50 in three days. It's back up to $4.87. So it's still down $63, but good bouncing. And that helped other areas of the market today. When I said that NASDAQ was down 270 something, NASDAQ 100 down 300, Dow was up 17. And because the stuff area of the market had a better day, small caps and mid caps are up. And when we mean stuff, insurance, by the way, insurance stocks got hit hard because of the AI, and they're bouncing too. The financials had a decent day. Transports, Mui and Fuego. It was up over 500. The transports finished up 414. They're strong. I must tell you that we're getting some weird numbers. GDP at 1.4, but the transport's humming. Not sure what that means. But the rails truckers, I'm quite impressed. Retail bounce today, but very much a mixed bag there. China remains very weak, but South Korea strong. A lot of differing things going on in Asia. They clipped the solar stocks today pretty darn good. There's still plenty not good. Bitcoin was down today. Remember we said yesterday, maybe this is the start of something. We'll see. It was down today. It was down overnight and down today. So we said software maybe. Software had a good day. Bitcoin not a good day. And I watched another Yutz say it's going to 1 million today. I'm not a violent person, but I'd like to smack the whatever off because people buy into that crap. I know of quite a few people that have lost their you-know-whats in MicroStrategy. Quite the few. You all be careful. There's a lot of stocks, and we mentioned the froth in the quantum, drones, rare earth, nuclear, destroyed. 50, 60, 70, 80% drops. And they were touted to you from Washington, D.C. on down. Do some legwork. Do some homework. If a company has no sales, run for the freaking hills. Because if nothing changes by rule, they will eventually go back to where they came from when all the noise stops. And we don't want our peeps caught in it. Quite the day today. A lot of jello moving on the plate, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, up next, this, that, and the other thing, and whatever else. This is the one and only Investor's Edge. Da-na-na. I did mention to you already that Rush will be touring Europe. Not a lot of dates, but I'm planning that sucker out. I think I'm going to see them 7 to 10 times. That's what I think I'm going to do. Because for me, it's the last vestige of, you know, what I want to see. I think I'm going to do the Eagles again at the Sphere. But after that, I'm pretty done. All my favorites. Old as dirt. And you know, I may see McCartney if he tours again, because my son wants to see him. I may just go see McCartney. And I did see him, I don't know, a few years ago. He was fantastic. I loved it. He was magnificent. By the way, I'm stalling a little bit because I'm doing aftermarket earnings as I am speaking to you. Okay, got them all. Yippee-yay-yay. So again, we started out with Nvidia because that's what everybody's talking about. It's simple. Just draw a line over 195. If it ever gets over it, we'll be yelling and screaming. And if you recall, one of the best things we ever did for you on this show is beginning of 24, going into the beginning of the year, we said to you, if Nvidia can ever break above $500 at the time, this is before they did the split. Remember that? And I believe it was like the third day of 2024. If it breaks above 2,000, it was 505. Just our exact words: buy the crap out of it. It went from 505 to, on the first move, 970. Do you know why? It was a long range, going back many moons. And the longer something trades in a range and then breaks out, and it's a leader with great earnings and sales, buy it. So who knows? Maybe in the weeks ahead, Nvidia does that above 195. You'll hear the same from us. It'll be different, though. They're a lot bigger company now. There's a lot more. There's a lot of shares. They did the split. It's not going to move as good. But hell, I'll take 195 to the old highs, 212. What? You think I wouldn't take 8% if you give it to me? And then again, I was impressed with how a lot of the semiconductor stocks held today, including the whole Philadelphia Semiconductor Index, which was down 8,062, 135, was down 405, finished down only 270. And trading above the green line, the 21-day moving average. So we're cool with that. We ask you don't to listen too much to the Nvidia-ites that are telling you just buy it. You got to buy it. You got to buy it. We're telling you buy it if it breaks above 195 with volume. That's what you do. Simple as that. In order to go up, it's got to go up. Simple as that. In order to go up, it's got to move through the attic. Got to move through that ceiling. Got to make sure nobody's out there ready to do whack-a-mole. And that's it. I thought the numbers were terrific. Am I surprised? Heck yeah. I wouldn't have thought this happened today. And by the way, lucky software was strong today, because if you had a weak software day with this, we would have had a nice little 600-point NASDAQ drop. But software now is in the midst of bouncing. To what extent, I don't know. I noticed some software stocks getting hit in the aftermarket. I see one going up. So we'll see how that goes in the morning. I'm noticing, by the way, this Duolingo. 117 down to 91 in the aftermarket. In case you don't know, it's language learning, digital language lessons and things like that. It's gone from 545 to 91. Why do I say that? Oh, they were telling you to buy that sucker at 500 big time. And they've been telling you it's cheap all the way down. By the way, it's good company, but you know what the problem is? At least what I'm being told. There's a lot of them. And I believe, didn't Apple come out with some sort of translation through the earbuds and iPhone? You get the point. if there's very little barriers to entry, trouble. Or if you come out with plant-based food. Seriously. That's beyond meat. We told you. Who eats plants? Come on. Stop. The big indices remain range-bound. 4 months plus. Mid-caps, small caps, a little bit better. And I got to tell you, they may be poised to break above a little range here. Foreign markets stronger than ours right now. Some foreign markets insane. Keep in mind they are less liquid than our markets, and they can come down just as quick. But whatever's going on is going on. South Korea is up 50% this year. Not making this up. The EWY broke out at $100 the first day of the year, closed at $150 today. You can go search, why is South Korea up so much this year? Yeah, because they're buying. What can I tell you? I think the economy's okay. It's not a golden age. It's not even real strong right now, but I think it could get there. Bond market's still acting just fine. Don't want to see oil much higher from here. That be the story. You'll have a great evening. Drive carefully. When you get home, do like we do. Quite simple. Make sure you hug your family, hug your children. They will feel better. You'll feel better. I promise. Stay well. Be well. It was almost all politics. No day today. No politics day today. Peace out all. Good night.